Hello. How are you? Let me see who is here. Sharon. Hello. Donna. Hello. Carolyn. Good morning. Hajnalka Javor. Hello. How are you? Hopefully I said that right. Susan. Lynn. Hello. All right. Here we are. Hi, Stevie. Here we are getting ready for practice. Tatiana, hello from Atlanta. I love that. That's what's really happened right now. We can do this from Atlanta. Well, so for you, it's 2:00. All right, you've already had your lunch. It's 11 for us in Los Angeles. I'm in Los Angeles. All right, well, welcome. And here we are. Anything that anybody would like to share with me today? Anything in particular that's going on? Let me know how you're feeling, what's going on with you. Anything you need to report to me, especially those of you that practice with me often. All right, so I'm going to go back to my post. My post. It's not great. All right. So for today's practice, yoga for osteoporosis, focusing on areas that are specific to osteoporosis. So the way that we monitor osteoporosis is the DEXA scan mainly, and it looks at the lumbar spine because that's really the only part of the spine it could detect through that process. The rib cage gets in the way for seeing what happens with the thoracic spine. And the pelvis is in the way to look at the L5, the lowest lumbar. So it looks at the 4 lower lumbar vertebra. And then it also looks at the hip joint, the top of the leg. And this is really the most precarious area to fracture. If you have a fall, a slip, a tumble, which is usually what happens with falls. So this is the most precarious area. Lots of focus happens here for us. And then that whole low back area, which is where the reading can be, the lower lumbar reading. And that's where also the integrity of the spine really matters when it comes to bone health. So we are going to focus today. Today's practice is going to be very focused on the back of the body, the spine and the muscles that stabilize the spine. Because having a strong back body is really important for many things. It's important to keep the bones strong and to create stimulation for the bones that we do when we come into our extension positions or our back bends. And it's also important to have a strong back body because it's what helps hold us up and helps to, it's prevented, first of all, it keeps us in alignment and posturally aligned, but it's also for fall prevention. And then it's also great for joint health, for pain and issues, arthritic issues in the hips and the knees. I know for myself that's what I came to learn is how important the back of my body being strong was for me and my hip journey. And so today's practice is going to be very specific to the back of the body, strengthening the back of the body, strengthening the vertebra, and raising awareness to some movements that we have, especially in this pelvic area and low back area, so that you can think about your body every day, think about your bones every day, and think about how can I strengthen them every day, and how can I keep the parts of me strong that's important for my bone health. That's beyond the bones, the muscles, the connective tissue, and the joints and all that. All right, I just want to see who else came just in case there's anything, because I'm back there and I can't see from back there or without glasses. Thank you, Tatiana. Yeah, it's been great. It's a great summit. It's actually going to replay this week. So this week is the replay of the summit, the whole weekend. I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but all the talks. I think there's like 46. It's been tremendous for you guys reporting back to me what you've learned. And then I think it's amazing what I saw. And it's been really good for me as well. A lot of people contacting me. Atlanta. Okay, great. Oh, you're telling her you were there. Thank you. All right. Does anyone else see me? Let me make sure. Let me text. I want to make sure. My internet is not always the best. All right, perfect. Oh, bummer. Okay. Maybe you could try it. So I don't know how to say your name, but Hajnalka. Here's what I would suggest, that if you have a phone or an iPad, maybe try that. I'm not sure why that would be the case. I'm not super technical, so I can't help you figure it out, but hopefully you do. The good news is that my YouTube live classes are recorded and you'll be able to look through the date. So anyway, that's all I could say. Sorry. And then my lifestyle masterclass is starting next week on Monday. And in that class, I actually give away a lot, or part of that class, not give away, but part of that class is a lot of videos that you'll receive. And if you ask Stevie, who's here, she'll tell you, she says to me, oh my gosh, Debbie, you give us so much. So yes, my goal is to give so that you can create the healthiest lifestyle possible if you have bone density issues, because it is about our lifestyle and there are so much that we can do for our bones. Okay, so for today's practice, we're going to need a block. This one is definitely something we use when we stand and get stability and the proper structure in our body. And the strap we use for a lot of things as well. But today in particular, we are going to use these two items because we're going to do some core stabilization work and a little bit of back body with some bridging and the spinal extension. So we are going to use these two today. So get something, if you don't have these exact props, get something like this, like a strap and maybe a rolled up towel. And then we're going to need another blanket as well. This is something you'll use throughout the whole practice. This helps support the head. And this is a really good gauge for how much improvement you're getting in your body once you start to actually adopt a lifestyle that is focused on posture, alignment, balance, strength, and all the things that are important for bone health. And you'll start to notice that maybe you need a little less and less blanket in order to feel comfortable when you're lying down on the ground. So we use a blanket often. We're going to use one here today. We are going to focus on the spine today. So let's do a little to start to open up the spine and stretch the muscles of the spine, opening up the front of the spine, really important. And we're going to put this behind our spine, and then there's going to be a drop off, so to speak, of our body on either side. So we're really going to get a nice stretch of the muscles that are in the front of the body and on the side of the spine as well. And then of course, muscles that attach the arms to the body. And one thing about that, whenever we do anything on the ground, when we do anything with the arms on the ground, what determines this is the health of your shoulder joint. And a lot of people have a lot of issues with the shoulders. So the arms out to the side, this arm bone, you can lift it a little higher and even bend your elbows. For some of you, you can do that, right? So this is what the end goal, or where we're desiring to be, is here, or even something closer to this. And if you just try this right now, you'll see where you are. You'll see how far you can go up. And it also depends how much tightness you have in the shoulder joint, because the arms should be on the ground. So we want the arms on the ground when we are down. So you may be here, you may be here, you may be here, you may be here. It doesn't matter where you are, but just to get some of the opening here as well, the stretch here in the chest and in the front of the body and the shoulders, because this is a part of what we need to have nice and open for that beautiful health of our spine. So you're going to take your blanket and you're going to roll it up, and roll it up, if you have a pretty limber body, roll it up really tight so that you actually create a really nice big opening for yourself. And then if you have to be a little bit more careful with your body, you still actually could go pretty big with this. And then for those that, if you know that you have some roundness in your upper back already, and if you have spinal wedge fractures, then I would like it if you had another blanket that would go over the top of your mat to help support your head. So if you need that, go ahead and grab a pillow or a blanket for yourself. Always good to have props filling in the space, and that's what props are for. They're to fill in the gaps of what your body is not able to do. So whatever your range of motion is, you want to use the props to help support you where you are. Okay, so the blanket is there. We're going to come and sit off of the blanket. So there's the blanket and here is me. And I'm going to put my body all the way back up against the blanket. And then always keeping the front of your spine open when you roll down. So we don't want to roll down like this and collapse and close off the front spine. You want to come to the side, reach your hands nice and long. And when you're here, you're actually going to bring length into your spine. We want that length, length, length. And then you can roll on top of your blanket. And then push your feet into the ground, lift your tushy up and arrange yourself so that you feel the base of the blanket right at the base of the spine. And keep your knees bent, your feet are flat. Legs are, feet are wider than the body, let your knees fall in towards each other. And the knees bent is also a protector for the lower spine, because when we start to manipulate the thoracic spine in particular, the part of the spine that's attached to all 12 ribs, these 12 vertebrae, when we start to manipulate this part of us, it will have an effect to lower safety or freedom in the pelvis and not pull on the low back so much. Pick your head up and arrange your head. You're either going to put a blanket behind it if you need it, or you're going to keep your head on this. And then you're going to lift your head up and put the center of your head right by the edge of the blanket. And then take your arms out to the side, close your eyes. And when you close your eyes, you're going to go in. You're going to go inside to the place of feeling and noticing. Keep your mouth closed. Start to breathe in and out through the nose. Mouth closed, nose breathing. And then begin to notice what you notice. Bring your awareness to the left side of your body and notice where on the left side you feel a stretch. And then bring your awareness to your right side and notice where on the right side you feel a stretch. Noticing if both sides are the same or are they different. Bring your awareness to the base of your spine, which is your sacrum and tailbone, touching the floor that's embedded in the pelvis. Push your sacrum and your spine down to the ground, and then push your spine towards the blanket, the low back, the middle back, and then press your head. For many, the neck may not be touching the blanket. Just notice here how that feels. Bringing your awareness to your spine. All 26 vertebrae. Bring your awareness to the back of your spine as you press your sacrum into the ground, your low back towards the blanket, the middle back towards the blanket, and the head. Then go ahead and release, pressing towards everything. Release that. Let everything soften, soften, soften. Press your arms into the ground and then press your heart up towards the sky. So maybe you start to feel a stretch somewhere else. Maybe in the arms, maybe the armpits, maybe the chest, the shoulders. Maybe you feel it in the front of your spine, or maybe you feel it in your belly, in between the lower ribs and the top of your pelvis. If you do feel a stretch here in the belly area, this is something that you might want to consider doing more often, because that part of your body, low ribs towards the legs, or low ribs towards the pelvis. That area, when it's contracted to to really tight, this part of your body, your belly, that's not a great thing for spinal health and bone health, because we want the front of our spine to be open and not to be contracted and pulled together. We don't want the pressure to be on the front vertebra. So just noticing your body here where you are. If you could explore taking your arms a little higher, take them higher. For me, it brings me into a stretch. So I am wondering if that's the same for you guys. Maybe, maybe not, depending on how limber your body is. And then if you'd like, you could take your arms, so your fingertips touch the blanket right above your head, if your body will let you, right? So this is all according to what you can do. And then pressing your arms towards the ground. A different part of your body may stretch. Maybe arms, maybe you feel some back activity. Noticing what you notice. And then go ahead and let the arms come back out to the side, resting in the appropriate place where you feel a good stretch. Maybe even a little intense stretch, but I want your hands and arms to be on the ground. So at least the hands, the back of the hand, down to the forearm and the elbow. Notice how your low back feels, and if it's activating or aggravated, push your low back towards the edge of the blanket. That should help to take out some of the tension from the low back. And then take some deep breaths down to your belly. Mouth is closed, you're breathing in and out through your nose, becoming very aware of your body. Body awareness is a very important part of you taking care of you, part of your bone healthy lifestyle, or healthy bones lifestyle. So let's focus on the breath here. I'm going to do a rectangle breath. This is actually a great breathing technique to calm your mind. So focus on the numbers, focus on the counting. And if you'd like, you could focus on the shape of a rectangle. The way this breath works is I'm going to count you first. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 4, hold for 2. And I'll do a couple of rounds of that, and then I'll move up. Inhale for 6, hold for 3, exhale for 6, hold for 3. And you see what feels the best for you. Let's take a big exhale to prepare and begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Adding on, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6, hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Continue on your own with whatever numbers are appropriate for you and your breath. Stay with your breath. Wherever you are, finish this round and take 3 more rounds. Letting your breath go, giving the breath back to the body, bringing your awareness to your head. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, slowly let your head turn towards one side, pressing your head towards the blanket. Feel the blanket there. Inhale back up to center and exhale towards the other side. You exhale into the stretch, you inhale back to center, and notice where you feel the stretch. When you turn to the side, does it stay in the neck or do you start to feel it down your arms, into your shoulder? And then feel the head on the back of the blanket, the rolled up blanket, because you're going to go a little deeper here with this stretch and make sure it's appropriate for your body. Go to whatever location feels appropriate. The next time you come to one side, stay there. Exhale. Inhale back up to center and exhale to the other side. Exhale. Inhale back up to center. Take your arms, bend your arms. Let's take the arms out, unbend the elbows if they were bent. Inhale. And then exhale, bring your arms up, bring your arms across your body, and hug yourself. Inhale to open. Exhale, bring your arms up and hug yourself. Try to switch the cross of your arms when it comes over to hug yourself, so that one forearm comes closer to your face as you hug yourself. Really hug yourself. Inhale up, and then hug yourself. Hugging yourself is a way you would hug someone you love that you're meeting and you're hugging them. Hugging yourself, an act of self-care, taking care of you, being okay with you and whatever you are at right now, wherever you are at. Whatever range of motion you have, whatever's going on in your body, your mind, or your soul. Last one, hug yourself, close your eyes, squeeze yourself, give yourself lots of love. Give your bones lots of love. And then bring yourself out. Let's come onto our side. We spend so much of our time criticizing ourselves, talking about what we don't have, what we don't have enough of. So it's nice to come to a place where this is okay, and this is a place where you can really give yourself a lot of love. Let's take the hand on the floor. Do not use your head, but instead push away strongly with the hand that's in front of you to bring yourself up. Bringing yourself to switch your blanket. And then put your blanket back up. Actually, bring your blanket here onto the mat. Let's take the strap for a second. Let's warm up the upper body a little bit. So the strap, you have your strap handy, put it in front of you. Let's take your hands to the side. Let's inhale up, really stretch your torso, feel the belly stretching here. And then exhale down, let your chin come to your chest, only your head moves down. Inhale, really, really reach. Feel that beautiful stretch coming into your body. And then exhale down. Notice, do you feel the stretch on one side and on the other, or more on one side than the other? Let's let the hands come up. And then take one hand down. Reach up with that hand. Reach it straight up towards the sky. And reach that other hand down your leg. Push your belly button to your spine, tailbone down to the ground. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself, that hand comes down. The other hand comes up. Reach that hand straight up, reach that hand straight down. A slight bend in your body, laterally flexing and stretching the side of your body. Stretching your spine, lengthening your spine. Straight up, a little bit over. Press your belly button towards your spine, and then bring yourself all the way down. Bring your hands onto your shoulders, forward, up, and back. So we need the upper body to be nice and free because the upper body has such an effect on what happens to your spine. Let's go in the other direction. Getting your shoulders nice and mobile. And then I want you to take your hands out in front of you. And I want you to reach your hands away and then slide your hands back. Reach your hands away, slide your hands back. Your elbows are straight. You're using your shoulder blades to retract, to pull towards each other in the center of the spine. You reach your hands away. You draw your shoulder blades towards each other. These are important muscles for posture, for alignment. Hands reach away and then back. Stay here. And then your shoulder blades on the back of your body are like triangles. The tips of the triangles are right by the bra line, or for the men, the bro line. You're going to pull the tips of your shoulder blades towards each other and then down towards the top of your pelvis. Feel that action in the back of your body. Feel yourself turning on the back muscles here. Take one more breath. Exhale. And then inhale. Try to keep the shoulder blades where they are. Reach your arms up and reach your arms back out. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Pinch them down towards the pelvis. Whatever range of motion you have, just noticing what's happening here. Tightness in this upper body here has a big effect on spinal health and the rest of your body. Bring yourself back to center. Bring your arms like this into a scarecrow. If your shoulders will let you come this high, if not, you could be a little lower. Inhale. Exhale, bring your elbows straight towards each other. Inhale, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Try to pinch the shoulder blades towards each other. And then exhale here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. In the practice of yoga, we inhale when the lungs fill with breath, when the body opens for receiving. And we exhale to release the breath out of the body, to come back to center. Inhale to lengthen, and we exhale when we contract. So that is the basics for a lot of the breath that takes place in the practice of yoga. That's a question that gets asked often. I forget how to breathe. Inhaling to open, to receive, to lengthen. Exhale to contract, to close, to release. And then bring your hands down. So let's take the strap. Take the strap a little bigger.
Now, you decide here what's appropriate for your body. So if you have shoulder issues, only do what's appropriate for you, bringing yourself up and back. And then stay back, really reach that strap back behind you as if, and you can even bring more of a back bend into your body. Take your belly, push it to your spine, and then tilt your tailbone or tilt your pelvis backwards, and then point your tailbone down towards the ground to be a little more safe, and then soften your belly. You need a soft belly to freely allow the spine to come into a nice back bend. Push your heart forward, let your shoulder blades push into your heart. Getting some kind of back bend if you can. If you're not holding onto the strap, do the back bend without the strap. And then bring yourself back to center. When we come down onto the ground, we are going to use the strap for some stabilizing work for the trunk. So I'd like you to loop your strap. If you do have loops in your strap, loop your strap. Or if you don't have loops, you can actually tie this. We're going to tie it around our legs. So I want you to do that before you go down. It's a little easier to loop this before you come down onto the ground. So get your strap and have it looped for some of what's going to happen when we come down. Put that off to the side. Let's take the blanket and bring the blanket back up to the top of the mat. Bring yourself onto the ground, sitting in front of the blanket. Let's do a Navasana boat pose. Now the important thing here, we did a lot of work with the chest and the shoulders so far to like open up the spine. You want to make sure that you never do this, never ever in any movement throughout your day do you want your thoracic spine to round and compressing the front of your spine. You always want to lift your heart. So even when I'm washing my hands at the sink, I will tune into what's happening to the front of my spine. Am I pushing on the front of my spine? And I'll bring my awareness down into my hips, and I'll deepen the bend in my hips. I'll correct my position of my pelvis, and I'll push my heart forward and open up the front of my spine. So let's do the Navasana posture, which actually brings a lot of that into your body. So strengthening the bendable part of you, making you nice and bendable. I always say my goal is to make you bendable and not breakable, to help you be bendable so you're not breakable. So let's take our selves. I want you to rock back and forth at first because I want you to feel the round shape of your sits bones in your pelvis. So feel that. And that's what you're going to balance on. And that's what makes this pretty challenging. So you're going to come back. You're going to come and balance here. Bring your legs up to a tabletop. And the arms are to the side. My elbows are out to the side. And then you're going to push your heart forward. So do not collapse. No collapsing, no caving. You want to really lift your chest up. So this is us in Navasana with the hands here, a little bit more easy. If you can take your hands off, take your hands off. Imagine your throat is open and you're pushing your heart forward really strongly. Probably feel your legs here. Maybe you feel your hip flexors here. You might feel shaking here. Pretty strong posture. If at any point you need to hold back on, hold back on. Stay with it. Push, activate your core like you have a big juicy orange in your core and squeeze the heck out of it. Push your heart forward. Squeeze your core. And then go ahead and bring yourself down and out. Woo! Definitely feel that right here, quadriceps, right? The hip flexors. Okay, let's come to the side. Reach your hand nice and long, coming down onto the ground. Let's get really nice awareness here of the pelvis and the way the pelvis moves, because wherever this goes, the spine follows. Or wherever this goes, the spine follows. This is the top and this is the bottom. And I guess if you were upside down on your head, this would be the top and this would be the bottom. So this is one end and this is the other end, okay? So bring your hand, slide your hand. If you could do sliding your hand underneath your body without moving your body, although for those of you that have more of a flatter lumbar curve, you may not be able to do that. I have a super strong low back curve. Not strong like it's a good thing. It's just that I have a pretty strong curve there. And I've read that the flatter curves are more for stability and a bigger curve is more for mobility. So
That's it. So quite often I see people go like this and try to put their hand under. So that's what I'm trying to say. Can you slide your hand under? Any hand will do. Palm is down, the back of the hand is there. And you'll feel that there's not a lot of pressure on your hand because that's an extension curve, that lower lumbar. It's the same curve that's in the neck. And then the thoracic is the opposite. That's your flexion curve. That's why it's so easy for those front vertebrae to collapse upon themselves, which leads to spinal wedge fractures. So here we are, the hand is underneath there. Feel what you feel. And if you want, you could take your opposite hand on top of the belly so that it's right by where the other hand is. Let's take an inhale. And then as you exhale, you're going to push your low back into your hand. That's actually activating core muscles to do that. Inhale to release. Exhale, push your low back into your hand. And inhale to release. Now I want you to pay attention to your pelvis. When you push your low back towards your hand, you're actually tilting your pelvis backwards. And when you release, you're in what's called a neutral pelvis, the natural curves of your spine. Exhale, tilting the pelvis backwards, pressing the belly button towards the spine. Feel the pressure going into your hand. Inhale to release. Take the hand out. Take the hands to the side. Exhale, and then inhale. Now do this without the hands there. Push your low back towards the floor. Feel that movement in your lower torso. Inhale to release. Close your eyes. Feel yourself, when you begin the sacrum, you feel the pressure of the sacrum. And as you exhale to press the low back to the ground, you rock to the top edge of your pelvis. You flatten your lower back, and then you inhale to release. You go back onto the top of the pelvis where the sacrum and the tailbone are. Exhale and inhale. Let's take our hands behind our head, elbows are out to the side. Take an exhale, then an inhale. Now you're going to exhale, flatten the low back, and lift the upper body off the floor at the same time. Legs are body distance. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Now keep the tip of your nose straight up towards the sky. Do not collapse the front of your spine. You're not going to go high here. That's okay. Doesn't matter how high you go. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Now, keep the spine, we're going to keep the spine neutral. This is a little bit more challenging, a little less ability to lift off the floor here. So you're going to contract your core, which is on top of your spine, right? Most of the muscles in your body are front of your spine. The back of the body doesn't have a lot of muscles because the spine is so close to the back of the body. So you want to contract this whole muscular area of the front of the core. And we're going to try to keep our spine in a neutral position as we add the pressure of lifting the upper trunk off the floor, which is what happens every day the way we're standing. When we're cooking, when we're gardening, when we're bending over to wash our hands, the top part of your body is going forward of your legs, and you need this to turn on to stabilize you. So we're going to work on the stabilization of the trunk, taking your hands behind your head. Press the tailbone and the sacrum into the ground. Feel that. You're not on the top edge of your pelvis. The pressure at the back of your body is in the center of your pelvis, and then you have your middle of your head supported by your arms. Elbows are out to the side. When you contract the core, you bring the bottom up, the top down, the sides in, and then you activate pressing towards the top of the front of your spine and the lower part of your spine. Okay, you could think about squeezing a big juicy navel orange, and that's going to activate a lot of muscles to come to the center. Let's take an exhale. As you inhale, prepare. And then we exhale to lift up, to contract the core. Lift as high as you can, contracting your core. Don't let your low back move at all. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale. Inhale. Let's see if you can lift one opposite leg off the floor, one foot off the floor, without lowering your pelvis towards the ground. Go slow. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. Exhale to rise. Inhale to lower. 1 foot at a time. Elbows are out to the side. Tip of the nose is up towards the sky. Squeeze the heck out of that orange. Push the belly towards the top of the spine. Feel the sacrum pressing into the ground. For those of you that can go a little crazy, walk your feet closer to your body. As you exhale, lift your feet off the floor. Don't let the low back go towards the ground. Keep your nose pointing up towards the sky. Inhale to lower. Stabilize your whole trunk as you challenge moving the limbs, moving the upper body and the lower body away from center, and your body needs to stay fired up in the central location. Last one, come up wherever you are, whatever variation you're doing. No legs, 1 leg or 2. Contract your core, push it up against your belly. Elbows are out to the side. And inhale to lower. So we're not together, and if we were, maybe I would hear sound effects like, oh, when you come out of that. All right, let's take your strap. Take your strap, make sure it's looped. And then you're gonna bring your legs in. Let's take the strap onto the legs. So your legs go through. Make sure you have your strap on your legs, okay? I wanna show you. Strap is on the legs up above the knees. I always wonder how I'm instructing that, because sometimes I'll see people if I'm in a group of 15 or so in a class like this, and I'm thinking, did I not say to go all the way through? So I want to make sure that you get it up here. And then push your legs out strongly. Come up in the air, push your legs out. You'll feel your side body activating, pushing your legs out. See if you can feel that activation. Go ahead and bend the knees, draw the knees in. Make sure your low back is a little more happy. And then you're going to get your block. You're going to take your block. Let's put the block between the feet. So the block has 3 levels. The block could be narrow, the block could be middle, and the block could be all the way wide. I want you on the middle one because that's about 6 inches, and that's actually perfect inner hip joint height. So it's actually if you have a block, it's actually really a great height. Then you're going to take your feet, put your feet on the ground, and slide your feet close to your body. Then you're going to have your strap on your legs. So you're going to grab the block with your feet. You're going to push out on the strap up here. Then you're going to have your hands on the ground. You're going to stabilize your trunk. And at first, I'm going to have you flatten the low back because that'll be a little bit more protective. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Now only come off the floor 1 or 2 inches. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. If you go too high, come back for a second, don't move. If you lift your legs too high, you go out of it. I want you to stay deep. I want you to take your fingers for a second and push your fingers right down here by your pubis bone. Take the fingers, press the fingers there, and then start to act like you're going to lift the leg off, or you could lift the leg off for a second and you'll feel your deep transverse abdominis fire up. That's your deep. So that's what we're working here. Take your hands alongside your body. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, activate your core, lift your legs up. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Squeeze the block, push out on the strap. Exhale, you lift. Inhale, you lower. You could flatten your low back for a couple, or work with the isometric strengthening of the core, not moving the spine, lifting your limbs off. And on your next one, I want you to come up and hover. Only an inch, only an inch. Don't go too high. Press your sacrum into the ground. Squeeze your orange. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then inhale to lower. Woo. Block off to the side. Draw the knees into the chest. Hold on to your knees. Let your knees go away from you. Inhale. As you exhale, draw the knees closer to the chest. Press into the chest, feel the low back, pressing into the ground. Inhale. Exhale, knees to chest. Inhale. Exhale, knees to chest. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Last one, knees come into the chest. Hold on to the knees. Press the knees towards the chest and then rock back and forth. And go ahead and put your feet on the ground. You want your legs to be about your body distance, so have your legs be body distance. Let's take the blanket back away from the head. We're going to come into the bridge, the spinal extension, and having the strap here, you're going to get a little bit more bend in your back. You're going to be able to come a little higher here when you're having with a strap on your back. It's going to be very supportive here, turning on the lateral chain, which will allow for a little bit more movement in the spine. It's like bringing a little bit more helper aspects to this posture. So lift your head up, tuck your head, your chin towards your chest, and then slide the outside edges of your arm and the shoulder blade closer to the center, so you become very narrow across the top. Now, if you're newer to the practice, having your elbows bent, upper arm bone to the ground would be better for you. And if you are a little veteran, or whatever we want to call it, press the arms into the ground and have your arms straight. Not one is better, yet one is better for you. Choose the best one for you. Walk your feet a little bit away from your body at first. A little bit away, squeeze the strap, pushing out on the strap. Let's let the low back press into the ground, so there's a posterior pelvic tilt. Soften your belly here. Take an inhale and an exhale. And let's inhale, press into the block, into the floor. Start to peel the spine away from the ground. Close your eyes. Feel your spine leaving all the way up to where the heart is. And then make sure you bend the upper spine, opening the front of the vertebra so the weight stays in your torso, doesn't go to your head and neck. And when you exhale, slowly placing your body back down. Inhale to come up, peeling your spine up and away. Feel that movement in your spine, introducing some undulation into your spine, moving the vertebra, moving the discs, stretching the muscles of the spine, and secreting some fluids to lubricate your spine for a nice fluid movement. Like a snake, feel that feeling. And then come back to center. Walk your feet a little bit closer, maybe all the way close. For some of you, you'll be able to touch your heels. You're that close. And don't try so hard to do that, because it's not that that's a better thing to do. It's just that some bodies are able to do that. Let's take an exhale. And then inhale, peel yourself up. Exhale, place yourself back down. Inhale, peel yourself up. Close your eyes so you can feel what's happening. With the legs closer to your body, you may feel more of the tendinous part of the hamstrings, the quadriceps pulling on the kneecap or as it goes over the knee. So make sure that feels appropriate for your body. Once you come up, you can push your hip joint a little higher, and that might help, or it might actually make it more intense. So just knowing what's appropriate for you. Last one, you're going to come up and stay up. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Press your arms into the ground and your legs press out on the strap. Try to push your heart to touch your chin. So you're really opening the front of the vertebra. Push the hip up towards the sky, trying to unbend your hip if you can. Lengthen your knees away from you. Push your feet into the ground. Push your arms into the ground. Push your heart towards your nose. If you need to come down, of course, come down. Take one more breath. When you come down, make it really slow. So push one vertebra at a time towards the ground. And then when you come towards the lower ribs, lift the heels off. Tilt the pelvis backwards. Try to place the low back onto the ground before the pelvis. Bring your blanket back behind your head. Bring your knees in, take your strap up and off to the side. Noticing how you feel, draw your knees in. So we were there for a longer time. And when you start to hold the postures longer, we usually do 30-second holds. And the muscles have a 72-second place they live in. So really up to 72 seconds is the maximum, a good place to stop your hold if you're going to hold for a longer time, because there's a refractory period within the muscles. So longer holds are going to be more potential for strengthening. I'd like to do a bridge pose with a block to get a little bit of a feedback. We are going to hold this one for 30 seconds. So walk your feet closer to your body. Take your blanket away from the back of the head. And I bring the blanket back on the head for those that really need that. You don't always have to bring the blanket back, but for some people, being in this position is very uncomfortable. Make yourself narrow in the top of your body by sliding your shoulder blades towards the spine, bending the elbows or palms or arms are straight. Feet are at block distance. Squeeze the block, squeeze the tushy, press the tushy, squeezing the tushy, press the low back into the ground. And then exhale and inhale. Squeeze your tushy strongly. Push your feet and your arms into the ground. Come in with a lot of strength here. Really strong, strong, strong body. Lift up, lift up, lift up as high as you can. And then focus on breath. Squeeze your block, squeeze your tushy. Take one more breath. And then you're going to slowly, slowly bring yourself down one vertebra at a time. Lift the heels up. Place the low back onto the ground. Really stretch and lengthen the low back here. Nice way to get some length into your lower spine. Bring the blanket back behind your head. Let's take the strap. Draw your feet in and then put the strap on your legs so you can come really wide with. And then soles of the feet are pointing up towards the sky. Push the pinky toe edges into the strap. And then bend the knees and draw your armpits. This is a happy baby. And you've got the strap so it stays nice and linear. For those that are pretty close to your toes, if you want to reach up and grab toes and pull the toes down, you can. Or you could stay holding onto your strap. If you want to do a little rocking side to side, little low back release. And then let's go ahead, take the strap off, bring yourself onto your side. And then pushing yourself with your hand coming up. Take your blanket and then fold the blanket. Fold the blanket. Let's come into the plank posture. I'll hold this for a minute. You decide what you want to do. You're going to take your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Walk them forward a little bit so you have a lot of length, a lot of space between your knees and your hands. And then bring one leg back and then the other. This is the full version of plank. If you need to have the lower shins and legs on the ground, try that. And if you need to go down onto the dolphin, try that. Push your feet back, push your heels back, really be in your feet here. Try to push as much body weight back to the feet as you can. Then bring your awareness to your core, like you're squeezing an orange, and push your belly up towards your spine, really doing that nice isometric holding and strengthening of the core. Bring your awareness to your hands. Push your fingers into the floor like crazy so that you distribute the weight in your hands. Bring your awareness to your pinky toes. Push one pinky toe, then the other. Push the heels back. If you want to get a little fancy, lift a leg off one at a time. Or if you want to try lifting an arm off, a hand, an arm. Giving yourself challenges once you're ready for them, or maybe never. And then let's go ahead and bring ourselves down. We're going to lengthen our spine in a puppy dog. So forward folding is precarious if you don't know what you're doing when you have osteoporosis. So we're going to make sure that the front of the spine is open, always having low ribs lifting away from the pelvis. Take your arms nice and long. We're going to stretch our spine. Keep your spine straight. Let it be your hips that bend. The hips bend as you bring yourself forward. Heart is really open, chest is pushing forward. And then you can put your head either on a blanket or on the ground. Long spine here. You can forward fold as long as you bring awareness, as long as you do not collapse the front of your spine, and as long as you flex at the hip joint and not the spine. Take one more breath. Bring yourself up. Bring yourself forward. So take your knees to the very back edge of your blanket. Flip your toes under. Take your hands wide so that your thumbs are pointing in, your pointer finger is pointing away from you. And have your pointer finger and thumb on the blanket or on the mat, and have the fingers off. And your body weight's back for a second. Then you're going to bring your body weight forward so that your shoulders are in alignment with your wrists and your elbows. Then you're going to look forward and up and bend slowly, 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 slowly down to the ground. When you're newer to this, you may plop at the end. And I did. I plopped. Take your pelvis onto the mat. Come onto Sphinx posture. So this is a great way to strengthen the upper back and neck. And it's even a good thing to do in the bed. So for those of you with upper back and head and neck issues, if you do this posture, lifting your head up here and really push your heart forward, opening the spine, you may be experiencing a stretch in the belly. Now, if the low back doesn't like anything, try taking the legs a little wider. And then even wiggling your pelvis back and forth so that you try to not let the tension be there. And then pull the ribs away from the pelvis and push the heart forward to really distribute the tension that's in the spine when you add a back bend. This is Sphinx. Let's take yourself nice and long as you push yourself forward, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen your spine as you bring yourself down onto the ground. Take your elbows out to the side. Let your forehead rest on the back of the hand. And now walk your legs so that they're closer together, even toes touching, big toes touching. Soles of the feet are pointing straight up towards the sky, not in towards each other, up towards the sky, because that'll give some relaxation for the low back. That's an internal hip joint rotation, and it gives some more space in the back of the body. Take an exhale. Press your arms into the ground as you inhale to lift your upper body up and away from the ground, or from your hands. Exhale to lower. Inhale, closing your eyes. Feel your back muscles activate to do this. And then push the pubis bone, the very lowest part of the front body, into the ground to add a little bit of either pelvic stabilization or even a posterior hip tilt, which can be nice and soothing for the low back. Take one more and then stay up there. Stay here. Inhale, and then exhale to lower. Let your forehead come to the ground. Take your arms out to the side. Elbows are directly off of the shoulders. Forearms are on the ground, palms are on the ground. Let your forehead touch the ground. Forehead like right where the hairline is, so that your spine is nice and long here. Toenails are pressing into the ground, soles are up towards the sky, big toes are touching. Exhale. Inhale, press your pubis bone towards the ground and press your arms into the ground as you inhale to lift your torso up and away. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Feel yourself rising up and down. Next time you come up, stay up. And as you come down this time, lengthen your spine. Pull your spine as you lower down. Take your arms alongside your body. We're going to come into the locust and hold it for 30 seconds. So the arms are down alongside the body. The hands are touching the body, or if you're a little bit more advanced, you can actually clasp your hands as long as you can get your hands away from your body. Let's take an exhale to prepare, lengthen your torso, and then inhale to lift yourself up away from the ground. Legs are lifting, arms are lifting, head is lifting. Everything is lifting off. Try to leave the top thighs, pelvis, and low belly. See if you can lift even the ribs off the floor. Always just working towards all this, whether it happens or not. Reach long with your legs, long with your head. Take one more breath. And then lower all the way down. Take your arms, fold your hands, rest your forehead. Take your legs wide as your mat. Wiggle your pelvis back and forth pretty strongly. And then bend your legs and let your legs, this is a backwards windshield wiper, or actually it looks a lot like a windshield wiper. Windshield wiper. Nice and relieving for the low back tension. Then bring yourself back to center. Let's take one hand away and roll onto your side. Noticing how your body is feeling. You're going to bring your hand onto the ground. And you're going to push strongly with that hand to bring yourself up. So we're going to twist our spine and see if we can twist out any tension that may have been created, and also create some spinal stimulation. So stimulating the spine with rotational force. Rotation is another thing that gets talked about a lot when osteoporosis. Yet if you come into this with a lot of safety and awareness, you can keep yourself safe and safely rotate the spine to create tension and pressure on the spine, on the vertebra. Right here where the low ribs end is where the low back and middle back meet. This is where 80% of that rotation is going to happen. It's going to be this part of your body we're rotating. We're going to rotate ourselves to the side. So you're going to take your blanket and fold your blanket in two, or if you're not quite so limber, then maybe fold that in three, or double, 4 pieces or whatever that is. Then you're going to come to sit at the very edge of your blanket, and you're going to need your block for this. So you're at the edge of the blanket. You're going to bring your block behind you. You're going to reach back and grab the flesh of your buttocks so you feel your sits bones. Take your legs nice and straight. And then let's bend the leg. I'm going to bend my left leg. You do whatever. I'm going to instruct this way though, so if you can, maybe following along might be the best.
Right leg is pressing into the ground. Take the right arm here. Keep your spine, the front of your spine, nice and lifted. And then bring your hand onto the block at the back so you can push down and get nice and tall. Push your legs into the ground. Lengthen your spine. Take an exhale. And as you inhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs. Rotate, rotate to the left. Nice open front spine. Active legs. Creating some tension for the spine and also for the hip joint, the posterior hip capsule, which is two areas that the DEXA scan actually looks at. So this is the I want to have stronger bones and a better DEXA scan score 2 years from now posture. Really lift your spine, open your chest, lower your shoulders, take one more breath. And then when you come out with length coming out, still lifting off the front of the vertebra, bringing yourself to the other side, bringing the block behind you on the ground, legs are straight, bending the right leg, holding on with both hands so you can get length in your spine and open, making sure that if you're here, that you bring yourself to here. Take your hand here, take your other hand behind you, push down, get nice and tall, exhale, and then inhale. Lower ribs, middle ribs, upper ribs. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Active legs, active body. Lower your shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Lift the chest, open the heart. Breathe down to your belly. Take one more breath. You're going to go ahead and bring yourself out, out, out. Bring yourself off of your blanket. Take your hands, palms are forward, or they could be out to the sides. Forward, I prefer. Shoulder blades slide towards each other. Heels are into the ground. Exhale. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Last one. Inhale to lift. Stay here. Inhale, and then lower. Bend your legs. Legs are bent. Exhale. Inhale, push away from the ground. Lift your body up and lower. Let this be the hip joint that bends and unbends. Unbend your hip, bend your hip. Keep your spine where it is. Keep your spine supported with the shoulder blades. Let it be the hip joint that unbends and bends. One more. Stay here. Walk your feet back. If you want to try taking one leg off at a time, this is like a tabletop, reverse tabletop. Make sure your chest is nice and lifted. Both feet into the ground, lift up. And then go ahead, bend your hips to lower. All right, shake your wrists. So there's one more that we're doing. It happens to be the Shavasana, the posture of integration, allowing all of what was just done to seep and to become a new memory in your body for this new activity that took place. So let this memory sink in nice and deep during your Shavasana. Prepare yourself in any way that you would like. Get whatever you need.
Find yourself into your memory building posture of integration, Shavasana. Let your legs be wide if you'd like. Let the feet flop out to the sides. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Start to bring movement into your body. Eventually bending the knees into the chest. And then rocking onto your side and pushing away from the floor with your hand to bring yourself up to seated.
Bringing your hands together, the thumbs touch the chest. Closing the practice with a humming sound. Press your heart to your hands to your heart, keeping the front of your spine nice and lengthened. Take a big exhale to create space. Deeply inhale. Fill yourself up. Bowing in gratitude and namaste. So the key takeaways from today's practice are the aspects of stability here, the ability to contract your core and to stabilize your torso, and realizing that the bottom of the body is always moving away from it, and the top of the body is always moving away. So this whole area, this is why there's so many low back issues, because this is the part of you that's always trying to hold on, like a clown spinning a plate on a stick. The clown is running all in the bottom trying to make sure that it stays stable, right? Well, this is your clown right here. So always being aware of what's happening here, and then also what's happening here, because if here is here, it's going to have an effect. So really lifting up and away and trying to stack yourself. And then of course, strengthening this part of you so you can do that. And you can support yourself every day, all day. All right, ladies. And Steve, I know Steve shows up. So I don't know if there's other boys, but Steve's the boy that shows up. All right, let's see. Hopefully that was okay. You're welcome. Cynthia, have I met you before? Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm a health coach and a yoga therapist. So I didn't get to share this in the summit, but this is a really big part of what I do is yoga and how to keep the body strong and healthy. And then I run labs to help you uncover where do you have bone loss, where you contribute to bone loss. So welcome, Cynthia. Lynn, good. Not as many postures today. I usually do a lot more postures. I think there were 7 in today's practice. 2 of them were bridge. But definitely today was a very strengthening practice. I label my practices strong, stronger, and strongest. And I will put this in the category of strongest because there's a lot of work there, especially if you were doing some of the other stuff like lifting limbs off the ground in some of that. Yes, Susan, everybody does. Like I know some of the ladies here, they always say, oh my gosh, I get so much higher in bridge when I have the strap. So it is definitely, you can really get a lot of freedom in your spine and pelvis when you can turn on the lateral chain of the body. Kathy, hi. Good. Yeah, very, very core focused. Good, Carolyn. Donna, thank you. All right, ladies, thanks for joining me. I have a osteoporosis lifestyle masterclass starting on Monday, 6 hours, 2 hours every Monday. And you get a ton of information. There's an online course now that is going to be a part of that with videos, instructional videos, practice videos, and then some assessment forms and things. And then I cover nutrition extensively in the third week, third module. So it's on my website, on my homepage. You can link out to more information there. And there's a replay this weekend of the Osteoporosis Summit. And then you can always purchase the summit. I think $69 is the lowest price, and $99 because then you can get some of Margie's things. And Margie's the one that hosted this event. She's a physical therapist specializing in bone health and in particular happiness. So join us in the summit this weekend again, or me on Monday for my bone health masterclass to create a really focused lifestyle on your body and your bones. Thank you so much. Bye, Stevie. Bye, Carolyn. See you all. All right. Have a great day, ladies. And boy, Steve, if you're out there. All right. Bye-bye.